So as 2016 comes to an end, I think it's important to count down those games this year that really made us smile and really brightened up our 2016. And to do that, I think the best way of doing this is a top 5 list. It would have been top 10, but unfortunately I don't get paid from YouTube, so my income is very limited, and there's only so many games I can get. And if I did a top 10 list, I think I'd literally have to put every single game I bought this year on the list, and I didn't really want to do that because I really wanted these games to stand apart as the elite of the elite games that I actually played, and I thought top 10 was probably the best way of doing that. So that's what I'll be doing, is top 10 list in this video. Tomorrow I'll be uploading a video of my top 5 most anticipated games of 2017, and that'll be going up as well. Obviously there's a lot of room to be surprised. I'll be buying games that maybe aren't on my radar right now, and maybe the list tomorrow will look very different to next year's best games of 2017. So without further ado, let's get started with this list. At number 5 I've got Attack on Titan. That game was everything you would expect from an Attack on Titan game. The feel of it, the way that the actual levels are actually built, the way the characters handle, the dialogue, the cutscenes, everything about it is really everything you would expect from an Attack on Titan game. Now sometimes there are a lot of liberties that game developers will take when making a licensed game. They'll kind of try and drift away from the license a little bit, and that's fine if they do it and keep within the heart of what they're actually creating. And I feel like they kind of did that, but still kept it feeling Attack on Titan. It felt like their take on Attack on Titan, but it was still at its core Attack on Titan, and I very much appreciated that. The levels that you actually play through felt like the sort of things that the Attack on Titan characters would do. The surroundings and the locations felt very Attack on Titan like, and the way the characters actually played and things like that. When you play as Captain Levi, you actually feel like you're this skilled, masterful, person who takes down Titans. When you're playing as, for example, Armin, you feel less experienced, you've got less skills, and it really shows. And I think that's exactly what they were kind of going for, and they really succeeded. So Attack on Titan was one of those games that I kind of had mixed feelings about going into. I didn't buy it straight away. I bought it a bit later on, but it was a game that definitely surprised me because it was very, very much what you would expect from an Attack on Titan game. And when it comes to licensed games, there's a lot of games that take a lot of liberties and really distract from the point that they're actually trying to make, and it really doesn't feel like the product that they claim it is. There's a lot of games that come out in the past that really don't feel like what they're supposed to be, but Attack on Titan Wings of Freedom definitely was one of those games, so that's why it's number 5 on this list. Number 4, I've got another JRPG, is Digimon Cyber Sleuth. Now before I realised it, I spent over 100 hours on this game. Maybe closer to 200. I played through the story maybe 2 or even 3 times. It felt like it was trying to be Digimon World 2, which I appreciated because Digimon World 2 is one of my favourite Digimon games that's ever come out. Except without the bullshit, Digimon World 2 was a fantastic dungeon crawler game, but the problems I had with it was, the Digibeetle only had so many steps you could actually go through, and then when you're making real headway through the dungeons, there was no real room to explore and get everything because you had to worry about the steps. This wasn't the same. You had no Digibeetle, you were just running around the dungeons with your Digimon. Another thing I didn't like as well was the level gap, and you had to DNA Digivolve, take them back down to the level below, and then keep doing that maybe 7 or 8 times just to get to Ultimate and get to Mega and stuff like that. And they didn't have that in this, and I really appreciated that because in Digimon World 2, one of the drawbacks to that was the fact that you had to grind through dungeons you've already completed maybe close to 100 times just to get to the next Digivolution, and then you had to do the exact same thing to get to Mega. And that's definitely one of the things I hate about Digimon World 2, but Digimon Cyber Sleuth, they took the dungeon crawling mechanic, they said, hey, this worked, this didn't work, let's get rid of that, and let's keep this, and let's add a few more things too. And that's what I really appreciated. There was a huge roster of Digimon. I think even some Digimon that only debuted in Tri, so very new Digimon as well. The roster was very expansive. It was just so much fun, I had to sell it for monetary reasons this year to actually get through a certain week, and it was after I'd already put so many hours into it. It's one of those games I really regret selling. But Digimon Cyber Sleuth, I had so many hours of fun on that game, and I can't recommend it enough. If you're a Digimon fan, Digimon Cyber Sleuth was fantastic. Up next we've got Doom. Now Doom would be higher up on the list. It's a lot of fun. The campaign is really good, but One thing that lets it down is the multiplayer aspect. It feels too much like Call of Duty in a lot of ways, and unfortunately it really shows. It's the one thing that lets Doom down, unfortunately. The campaign, however, is fantastic. The gameplay is amazing. The graphics are phenomenal. What else can I say? It's Doom. It's exactly what it says on the tin. You buy a Doom game, you're expecting to blow off the heads of a load of demons, and that's exactly what you get to do. The gory kills are fun and, you know, very creative in the way you can kill a lot of these demons. Yeah, just the atmosphere, everything about it, it feels like... Okay, picture how it would feel to shoot demons on Mars. That is exactly how it comes across, and that's fantastic. In my opinion, Doom is one of the best games of this year, and it's another game that I was very apprehensive about going into it. I didn't buy it straight away, I waited for a price reduction. I just got my Xbox One at the time, and I was like, you know what, I need more games on my Xbox. I know, I'll buy Doom and I'll see what that's like, since it's at a cheap price anyway. And fucking hell, I wish I'd have bought it sooner. The game is phenomenal, it's fantastic. If you love shooting things in the face mindlessly, look no further than Doom. It's exactly what you're looking for. But there's a lot of sort of subtle nuances to Doom as well. A lot of Easter eggs and things. Some pretty clever sort of little nifty tricks that I'm not going to spoil for you. But yeah, if you haven't got it yet, pick up Doom because it is amazing. Number 2 on the list is potentially the last installment of this series, but we'll see, is Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Now, I loved Uncharted 4. I didn't really play 1, 2 and 3 that much. I played 3 a little bit, but not too much. I never completed it or anything like that. But Uncharted 4 is amazing. Again, taking the role of Nathan Drake and his partner Sully, you basically embark on Nathan's last adventure, and it's really fun. It's got that very Tomb Raider-esque feel to it. The third-person shoot mechanics work fantastically. The combat feels really fun and fresh. The cutscenes are really cinematic and they look beautiful. Just everything about the game falls into place exactly the way you'd want it to. Uncharted 4, can't really say much badly about it. The multiplayer aspect is maybe a bit uninspired, but it's not really the selling point for Uncharted. The single player campaign really is, and yeah, it really is everything you would expect from an Uncharted game, especially from the last adventure of Nathan Drake. You know, as they say it is, we'll see. Like I said, there's a nice little Crash Bandicoot cameo in there. Don't know whether that was deliberate to foretell the insane collection that's coming out next year, but or whether it was just there to be an Easter egg. But hey, it was amazing. I marked out a little bit, loved it. Uncharted 4 deserves its spot at number 2 on this list. At number 1, we have the best game of 2016, and I will waste no time in telling you what it is. It is No Man's Sky. I'm kidding. Don't chop my head off if it's firmly attached. I'm kidding. I have got No Man's Sky. It's not as bad as people say, but it is pretty boring. But No Man's Sky is not on this list. It's definitely not number 1. At number 1, I've got Pokemon Sun and Moon. I absolutely did not think I would put a Nintendo title on this list at the start of 2016, especially Pokemon Sun and Moon, because I've been kind of disenfranchised from the Pokemon series since around Generation 5. Generation 5 was just so boring, it put me off quite a bit. I didn't get Generation 6 until it was a year and a half old, and I did enjoy Generation 6, that's what really started to pull me back, but Pokemon Sun and Moon really dragged me back in. I mean, I bought it, I played it for the entire day that I had it the first time. I think for that whole week, you couldn't see me without my DS in my hand, which has never happened before. No DS game has really gripped me like that before. The last time a handheld console really did that for me was when I had my Game Boy Color with Pokemon Red and then Pokemon Silver, and then my DS with Ruby. And then after that, it was kind of like, you know, I had the Pokemon game, I got through it maybe within a year or so. But this really brought me back into the series, and I'm really thankful for that, because Pokemon's a series that really gripped me as a kid. Really, you know, took me away to, you know, this whole other world, and I absolutely loved it, and I'm really glad that Pokemon has managed to recreate that magic all these years later. The game isn't perfect, but which game is? There's a few things I don't like about it, but unfortunately, you know, all games have got their pitfalls. Before I realised it, I'd poured over 200 hours into this game, and I'm still going. I'm still not getting bored, and I completed the main story about 2 months ago, and I'm still going. So You know, Pokemon Sun and Moon, what can I say? It's really that game that will you know, recreate that magic for you. And I'm really glad it did. It really brought me back into the series. A lot of the Pokemon have got really interesting designs if you really look into sort of the mythology of them and what inspired them. And the way that they look as well. There's a lot of interesting new features in the game. And honestly, if this is the direction the Pokemon's going in the future, then it's gonna start really bringing me back into the series like it did when I was a kid. So anyway, that was my top 5 list. I was about to say top 10. I haven't got the money for a top 10, but this is my top 5 list. What games did I miss off the list? Let me know in the comment section below and tell me what games you enjoyed in 2016. And also tomorrow I'll be bringing out my video for the games I'm looking forward to the most of 2017. Of course, there's room for games to surprise me. I'll get more than just those 5. So maybe my list next year of the best games of 2017 will look very different to this year's list of going into 2017. But who knows? You know, I can only go by what I know at the moment. So please like this video, share it and subscribe as well. All those things are appreciated. Leave a comment in the comment section below. I will try and get back to you. And let me know what games you would have put on this list and what games you wouldn't have put on this list. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.